It's space weather. Looking at the sun in 304 angstroms. Sunspot 2726. What's going on with it? Not named yet? Hasn't fizzled out. Still appears to have umbra. We also have a more active region rising over here on the eastern limb. And an increased coronal hole wind stream, as predicted. Check out some other views. Here's your magnetic lines in 171 angstroms. Now, over here, you can see some magnetic complexity there. Doesn't make it a sunspot because there's no umbra. However, up here, there does still appear to be umbra. And the only reason you cannot see the magnetic complexity is because these lines coming out of this coronal hole are either interacting or blocking the ability to see the fields associated with that sunspot. Whether or not it gets named a sunspot is up for debate. Not sure. So, see what happens there. Here's your animation, 171 angstroms. By the way, now that the coronal hole seems to be disconnected from the Earth magnetically, we are expecting an increase in the X-ray flux as a result of those active regions. Here's your real-time solar wind data. Somewhat close to what was predicted, although we do have this signal in the phi angle at 315 degrees, which I would guess would have to be the North Pole coronal hole, because it's a pretty obvious connection there. I mean, really obvious signal line. Now, the solar wind density did not come down yet, as predicted, but the wind speed has gone up, so that is the coronal hole wind stream from the previous coronal hole. Check out the earthquake situation. Last 8 hours have had some interesting activity. Greece is still getting hit. China got hit. 4.7 in Japan, so Japan should be on alert for a 5+ due to the depth of that quake, as deep earthquakes tend to be the predecessors to shallower, more intense quakes. Nicaragua, that does appear to be, yep, that's 2 different quakes there, about 40 minutes apart. Indonesia got a blot echo at 117.4 kilometers depth. So, Indonesia should be on alert for a 4.5. Another odd mid-Atlantic ridge quake, fairly rare. Chile got a 4.7 near the blot echo depth, so they should be on alert for a 5. Papua New Guinea got a 5.7, hopefully everybody's okay there. Tonga got a 6.2, that's the largest one recently. Let's see. Well, we're not going to go into seeing if there's tsunami warnings, but moving on to the spaceweathernews.com. Alright, X-ray fluxing is back down to a sort of a nominal level. Nothing too exciting there. And the ACE and the Discover seem to agree on the phi angle, the solar wind density, and the solar wind speed, so that's what we like to see. Now, magnetometer is looking odd. So that's something to keep an eye on. It's at a very low level now. And this is going to, let's see, this is going to spike up, but it's not going to spike up very high. We are expecting an increase in the KP index. It's only at 2. Wouldn't be surprised if it went to 3 or 4 throughout the day today, as the solar wind speed will probably increase and the solar wind density will probably drop. As is often associated with coronal hole wind streams, we see a low electron flux, because keep in mind, coronal hole wind streams are composed primarily of protons. F2 ionosphere layer looks pretty normal. Here's your auroral forecasts. And for those of you who are new viewers, sunspot number and 10.7 centimeter radio flux are almost identical proxies of solar activity. Here's your solar cycles in case you weren't aware. Cycle 24 is the weakest solar cycle in recent history. A lot of days without sunspots now. Let's look at our favorite cosmic ray source, Cygnus X3, part of the constellation Cygnus itself. The largest, brightest star in Cygnus is Deneb, which is where this is located, where these measurements are being taken from. You can see we've had the most dense readings here from this cosmic ray source that we've had in quite a while. And if you look at the annual, you can see that? That's the highest reading that we've had since 2009, which is right near the previous solar minimum. Taking a look at stock and commodities markets, because you got to get out of your comfort zone and get out of your lane and bother other people sometimes. So the market went down on Friday. What's the interesting part? Well, I'll tell you. Commodities. See that silver price? $14.13. Let's look at the chart. Very close to a 52-week low, and one of the best hedges against the oncoming inflation that you could possibly own, because inflation is going to increase. Also, we did find an interesting site which we will leave links to, as we do with all of our data that we gather. A site called indexmundi.com. Feel free to explore it. It's pretty interesting. But it's got very convenient charts that tell you 1 month change, 12-month change, year-to-date change, and all kinds of different commodities. So, if you're interested in that stuff, commodities are a good hedge against inflation. Now, found an article in Universe Today, which is once again challenging classical cosmology. So, a star was found, supposedly only slightly younger than the universe itself. We're talking about a 13 billion year old star here. And this absolutely challenges the standard cosmological model. In fact, it challenges it so hard that the first sentence is according to the most widely accepted cosmological theory. The first stars formed roughly 150 to 1 billion years after the Big Bang. I think they mean 150 million to 1 billion years, since that would actually make sense regarding their widely accepted cosmological theories. But yeah, they found this weird star that's got a very low metallicity, in other words, a very low metal content. And they've determined that the star is, 13 billion years old. Now, obviously, this is a huge challenge to the standard cosmological model. Some of us don't believe that there are fusion reactors inside of suns, stars, that they're made of condensed matter. not balls of gaseous plasma, since no observations back that up. Read the article if you're interested. The music you're hearing is, again, original. So head to soundclick.com/goldencatproductions. That's soundclick.com/goldencatproductions. The song being played here is Figurine 2010, a track from 2010. In any case, thank you, subscribers. Thank you, regular commenters. Please like and share the videos if you do enjoy them, and we will be producing more daily. Thanks for tuning in. May the solar wind be at your back, and the solar protons be, passing harmlessly through your body.